Okay, this is lesson 8.4, and in this lesson we're going to look at designing a budget. When designing a budget, there's two things we need to consider: income and expenses. Income is the money you earn, and expenses are the money you spend. A budget is an organized list that's going to compare your income and your expenses. Budgets are used as a tool in financial planning, and our goal is to make sure that we don't spend more than we earn. To help you understand exactly where your money is going is another reason people design a budget. And it's to help you focus your spending on the things that are most important to you. Finally, it's to help you save to meet a financial goal. So maybe you're saving for a trip or to do a renovation or whatever the reason. A personal budget is usually planned monthly. Monthly amounts can then be multiplied by 12 if you want to figure out an annual budget. Income and expenses are recorded by type of expense and type of income. Money set aside for the future is called savings. And it's important that we consider savings as an expense because it's not money that's going into, or it's not money that's readily available. You've spent it, not actually, but you've spent it by saving it because you don't have it. It's not liquid. And the balance of a budget is the difference between the total expenses and the total income. When you hear balancing, if the balance is negative, you're spending more than you earn. You need to adjust some expenses so that the balance is zero, and this is called balancing a budget. It'd be nice if you didn't have to adjust expenses and you could just make more income, which is sometimes an option, but usually it's you're cutting expenses. Let's interpret a budget. This pie chart shows Jamie's expenses for 1 month. The total dollar value of Jamie's monthly expenses was $3,000. How much did she spend on transportation? Well, if you see, transportation is the 13% chunk. And if the expenses were $3,000, well, that would be 3,000 times 13% as a decimal, 0.13, which is $390. So $390 on transportation. How much did she spend on her top two expenses combined? What would be the top two expenses? The ones with the biggest percentages or the biggest pieces of the pie, which would be housing and utilities and food and clothing. So transportation was the circle and top two is my square. We've got housing, and if we add these, housing and utilities, food and clothing, we get 51%. So just over half. So if we approximate about just over $1,500, let's see, 3,000 times 51% as a decimal is $1,530. Okay, in example 2, we're actually going to set up designing a budget, and I'm going to start it off for you, and you're going to finish it. So here's our scenario. Annika needs to save $7,500 over the next 12 months to start her own small business. Her monthly income after payroll deduction is $3,000. She earns an average of $50 a month from investments, and she prepares the following lists of her expenses. We've got housing expenses, so $850 for rent, which includes heat and water, $75 for electricity, $105 for phone, cable, and internet, $420 monthly car payment, $75 annual vehicle licensing fee, $420 car insurance twice a year, $150 a month for gas, $30 every 3 months for an oil change, that seems low, $450 every year for maintenance and repairs, $250 for groceries, $200 for clothes and personal care, $100 a week for restaurant meals, seems excessive, and $20 automatically deducted from her bank account for a charitable donation. So lots of expenses, lots of places to spend that $3,000 every month. First thing we're going to do is we're going to go through the list and designate as fixed or variable. So let's start with rent. Rent is a fixed cost. Electricity is a variable cost. Phone, cable, internet is a fixed cost. Car payment is a fixed cost. Annual vehicle licensing fee, that's also fixed. Car insurance is also fixed. Gas is variable, it depends how much you're driving. Oil changes is, let's consider that a fixed cost. Probably depends on how much you're driving. If you're a variable for that one, that would be fine. $450 per year for maintenance and repairs, that's definitely a variable cost. 30 should have been lumped in with the maintenance and repairs, whatever. Other, $250 for groceries, that's definitely variable. $200 for clothes and personal care, that varies. $100 a week for restaurants, that varies. And $20 for charity, that's fixed. So there we go, we got our fixed and our variable. F for fixed, V for variable. Convert all amounts to monthly amounts. Round all values to the nearest dollar. Why do we do this? Well, if we flip the page over, I'll show you why. When you design a monthly budget, you usually have a table that looks something like this. And every number that's going to go on this table is going to be a monthly dollar amount. So when you have expenses that aren't monthly, we need to make them monthly. So let's go through the list, and anything that's not monthly, we're going to convert. Let's scroll up here. Now you won't be able to see the list, but I'll write it down for you. If you want to look at the list while I talk about it, that's fine too. The first one on the list is monthly rent, which is definitely monthly. Electricity is already monthly. Phone, internet, cable is already monthly. Car payment is already monthly. Annual vehicle licensing fee is the first thing that's not. So license. Whoa, I'm just going to try that again. Licence. License. Well, that happens annually, and it's $75. And we want it monthly, so we divide by 12. So we should budget $6.25 a month to pay that $75. Next one on the list is car insurance, and that is twice a year. Car insurance. So that's $420. But we got to do it twice to get to annual, and then we have to divide by 12. And if we do that, we get $70. Oil change. So that's $30 every 3 months. If we want it monthly, we just have to divide by 3 to get 1 month. So we got to budget $10 a month for an oil change. Maintenance and repairs is the next one that's not monthly. It said $450 a year. So we got to divide by 12 to get a monthly amount, and that would be $57.50. 2 more we got to do. Meals. These are the restaurant meals. And that's $100 every week. Well, there's 52 weeks in a year, and then divide by 12 to get a monthly amount, which is $433.33. It's a lot of money eaten out a month. Finally, the savings. It says she has a savings goal. And remember from earlier, your savings is an expense. She wants to save $7,500 in the year. So for that, we have to budget $625 a month. All right. Finally, are there any expenses that you think Annika forgot? Explain. Well, I think there's definitely one that she forgot, and that's entertainment. There's nothing in there about entertainment. So that could be going to a movie, but not even factored in. So in a month, there's 30 days in a month. That means she's not doing anything other than driving her vehicle, buying clothes, and eating at restaurants. How much you want to budget for that is up to you. I'm going to say, let's do $200 a month. All right, and now we have a fairly good list of expenses. So let's flip it over and we'll start to design our budget. So let's first start with the income. I'm going to highlight two columns here because we have a total income line right here, and we have a total expenses line right here. And then at the very bottom, we have our balance, which is where you subtract the total income and the total expense. So it's important that we know about these lines. Oh, missed that when I showed the bottom there. There we go. Total expenses and our balance. So once we list all of our incomes, we're going to add them up so we can come up with our total. And we're going to use that total to find our balance. Let's start. We have a salary of $3,000 every month. Oops, 3,000. And we earn $50 from investments. Let's say that's variable. That changes. We'll just say $50 is the average. So our total salary is $3,000 and 50 from investments for a total income of $3,050. When you're totaling up income, it's important to total up your fixed and variable as well. So our fixed income is the 3,000 and the variable is the 50. So there we go. We're adding across the column to get our total, or we're adding down the column to get our total, and those should match. The same thing's going to happen when you look at your expenses. When you add up your fixed and variable, we should get our total for housing, and we should get our total by just adding up down the columns as well. So we'll do the housing column, and then I'll leave the transportation, food, and other for you. All right, let's talk about housing. Rent. Well, if we look back on the first page, the rent we decided was fixed, and it was $850. The utilities was also already listed as a monthly amount, and it was $75, and we decided that was a variable amount. And finally, phone, cable, and internet we had as a monthly amount of $105. So what's this look like now? Well, now we add across the columns. So we got 850, 75, and 105. And if we add down the columns, our fixed total is $955, and our variable total is $75, for a grand total of $1,030. So already just over a third of our income is now spent on just housing. So I'm going to leave the transportation, the food, and the other for you. Take the numbers off the previous page, plug them into the table. At the very end, come up with a grand total for your expenses. Subtract and see if Annika is going to meet her savings goal, and if she's not, we're going to make some adjustments. So there's a couple questions I want you to try as well. Over here on the left, what percent of Annika's costs are fixed? So that's at the very bottom right here. We're going to look at this number, total expenses that are fixed, and the grand total of her expenses and find out the percent. So we're just going to divide and then multiply by 100. We're going to answer the question, can Annika make her savings goal? And if not, what should she cut? And finally, How did the budget help you answer part E and F? Please explain. My solutions are posted on the course website, so try filling it out on your own, maybe in pencil, and then take a look at my solution and see how you did. Thanks for watching lesson 8.4 on budgets, and I'll see you next time.